Brett Perigo, tonight's second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terribles over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with, talk to. I really like them.
How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! On my way to Monday Night Raw.
How do I want to answer the second one?
Your choice.
It's a trap.
I feel like it is. I feel like he's setting up fights in the front stretch is what he's trying to do.
Speedway. We've got Devin Gordon with us.
At Keen Motorsports Shop here with Kyle Keen.
Sitting here with Sean Keen. We're going to talk a little bit about racing history.
Yep.
Monday, March 16th, 2026. What's going on? I am Jimmy here with JC. We are the Turn 2 Terribles. We have a great show planned for you tonight. We got Ayden Hare. He's going to join us. Young driver moving up to the 410 ranks this year. We're going to talk to him a little bit about that and his racing history and get to know him a little bit. We also have a lot of racing that happened this past week here locally at Lincoln and BAPS, getting their season underway. High Limit getting their season underway down at Las Vegas. And then we'll also talk about the World of Outlaws and obviously the tragic news that happened there as well. Thoughts and prayers to everybody involved with that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then we'll take a look at this upcoming weekend. Hopefully everybody's staying out of the way of any tornadoes that are happening right now. I know the area here is kind of under some uneasy weather right now, but hopefully this weekend it's clear up enough for us to get the first official races underway of the new PA Posse series. We'll talk about that as well. As always, thanks everybody for who tunes in live and joins us in the chat. Santos, Mandy, Kirsten, Steph, Matt Bird, Dirt Track Ant. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, joining us live. If you got any questions for us, you got any hot takes, you got questions for Ayden when he's on, make sure to drop them in the chat. And if you aren't already, make sure you give us a like and a follow wherever you're watching. But that being said, Jay-Z, man, how are you doing tonight?
Man, I'm good. Good weekend of racing for sure. Ready to get into it.
Yeah, I'm hyped. Well, let's not delay our guest any longer. Let's bring in Ayden Hare. Ayden, hold on. There we go. Ayden, how you doing, man? Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, brother, welcome in, man. I've talked to your team every weekend, and I got to apologize. In my old age, I swore we had you on the show before, and I was convinced of it for a long time. And everybody's like, when's Ayden? And I'm like, we did, didn't we? And Ayden's, Jaden's, and they're everywhere. I don't, y'all are, all you damn kids. Welcome in, man. Appreciate you being here. So we do this with pretty much all of our first time guests, and some folks that are. Hey, listen, there's some reality here. The first 2 weeks, there's some people that might learn your name. Just
Yeah.
full disclosure, right? It's possible that people were like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I know that, right? So tell us a little bit about your racing background, the few days that you've had racing, being a young guy, but a little bit about your background or your family's background in racing, and kind of how you got to where you're at today.
My dad ran micros and go-karts for a while, and I started out running go-karts at Hunterstown. And then I think I was around 13, 14 years old. We ran go-karts up and down the East Coast, and then moved up to micros, ran a midget for 7, 8 races, and then jumped into a 358, and now racing 410s.
Wait, back up. That was way too fast. How much in
Sorry.
micros?
We ran 3 years, 2 years in micros.
2 years micros and right into 358.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we noticed here right away, and I've been around this a while, and you seem to pick up on it really fast. I mean, barring, you learn those couple things, but you seem to be a guy who it didn't take long to adapt to these race cars, to these racetracks. And even just these first 2 weeks, when I watch you on the racetrack, it just seemed like, yeah, I've been here. I've done that. And that's not true necessarily, but
Yeah.
I mean, did it feel that kind of comfortable for you? Let's say the micro to the 358 to get yourself comfortable and feel like, hey, I can go past race cars or I can make fast laps. Did it just seem like it came easy to you, or was it like I got out of this thing and I felt like I was going 3,000 miles per hour and holy crap?
I don't it kinda just was kinda sorta like I don't really know how to explain it. Like my whole life, like in go-karts, I kinda just been thrown to the wolves and been like, go out here, kind of figure it out, and I've been able to adapt really well to it.
Yeah, and I think we noticed right away in that 358 division, your car stands out. So I think we were like, okay, who's this?
Mhm.
And then, that first couple nights, if you have this or that, but it wasn't long before you were able to, no matter where you drew, whether you drew up front, you led a heat, or you started in the middle of the heat and you're battling with guys with what or kids or guys, whatever, or ladies with tons of experience, and you were figuring out how to run the top, how to pass cars, how to make fast laps. And it's just sort of carried over. And what I think is interesting in that 358 division, it's not like you won every race you ran.
Mm-mm. Yeah, no.
Cars, you did get some wins, but that's a very difficult division. Did you find it to be frustrating, or find it to be any break to your confidence that you didn't win every race because you're capable?
Yeah, kinda like I don't I don't really, like, know how to really, like, explain it much, but, like, I know we always had, like, a really fast car, like, all the time, and, like, just little stuff would happen that would cause us not or, like, some stuff wouldn't go our ways, but, like, I always knew, like, we had a fast car, just couldn't lose confidence.
And I think you probably won a lot of races through your career, and when you get to the big cars, right, the winning percentage drops. It doesn't matter who
Yes.
you are. It's very rare to have a high winning percentage at the highest levels, and that's gonna continue into the 410s a little bit, right? You're gonna
Oh,
win some
yeah.
races. I think we all believe in your ability. You know, is this things where you have to kind of mentally prepare yourself for it, or is it sort of after the fact and just get over it? Like, you don't want to prepare yourself for losing. That's not like
Yeah.
what competitors do. But do you have to kind of keep yourself level-headed a little bit going in, or is it always after going, "Okay, here's what I'll take from this," or kinda how do you handle that?
Yeah, definitely going in from last year to this year, it's just more like all right, we're in a 410 now. We're not always gonna be up front. We're not always gonna be like one of the faster cars. It's just gonna get something to get used to.
And what was your experience like week 1 in a 410?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Just like going on the straightaways, it was like, holy crap, there's a turn again. It was super fast.
So for full context, if anyone saw Ayden at I'm sorry, week 2,
Yeah.
their plan was to go to BAPS and test before they got to race. Well, that got canceled. So your
Yep.
test was your first week.
Yeah, yeah, it was because dad didn't really want to go on that Tuesday and get the car ready and buttoned up. He was like, so like we're just gonna just throw you out there and just see how you do.
Well, and then what was going through your head as you're yet again battling Logan Rumsey, who now has had a full year and a half of
Yeah.
experience, and you're battling him in a heat race. And in fact, you pass him, and he has to fight like hell to pass you back. Did that give you a moment of like, all right, I can do this with 9 laps under my belt?
Yeah, yeah, it definitely did. Yeah, just passing him and then kinda keeping up there with Briggs and stuff. It was just, like, confidence, a big we weren't that far off, we were only a few tenths off, and it was just like we were up to speed right away, kinda, sorta.
And then unfortunately, the B main went, well, excuse me, after your heat race, kind of had, we talked about it last week here on the show, just kind of an unfortunate event. And you get out for that B main, and really there wasn't a ton of passing in that B.
Mm-mm.
Were you able to learn anything? You were buried, but you kind of ran laps. Were you able to learn anything in the B main?
Yeah, well, I was, just, like, how much more touchier the throttle is in these, just being able to spin your tires super easy and kinda just gotta be really smooth.
So, so you kind of do that. Your night was over. You come back this week, and quite a different racetrack, and it was
Yes.
pretty slick all the way across. How did you kind of like? Did I don't want to say did it catch you by surprise because in that B main last week it was definitely more slick.
Yeah.
But what was there able to did I don't know how to say this. It's hard for me to go. Did you learn anything from last week with like only a one race under your belt? But did it help you a little bit going into this week with it being dry slick?
Yeah, it did, just, then my dad was able to get me, more comfortable with how things felt kinda sorta in, like, the 358, and I was able to, like, build all that confidence, then in that heat race passing Cam and Timmy like I did, build a lot of confidence. I was like, "Alright," and me and my dad are able to, like, really work together and stuff, and I have a word in what I wanna do with the car and stuff.
So Jimmy typically handles the fan questions, but it's already come up a few times.
Yeah.
What's up with the hair, bro?
Yeah. So
What's going
It's
on?
just I don't it's just, out of the shower, just towelling. That's how it is.
yeah, so Riley Payne asked, Aiden, on average, how long does it take you to do your hair in the morning?
Like 5 minutes. Just jump out of the shower, try
And
it
then
off.
we also had JJ Lawson here saying, "Hey, Aiden, did you do your hair before this?" Come up a couple times now.
Oh,
It sounds like they want you to do like a TikTok get ready with Aiden kind of thing.
yeah, I might have to
Show
start
'em
doing
what
that,
your hair
like
care
on race
routine is. I
days.
think
Yeah.
I think we're here for it. So I talked a little bit at Racing Extravaganza and was talking to your family a little bit and uh, kind of some of the guys we've had on the show, like Preston, Preston Latimus was like the big most recent one we talked about with that throttle, the throttle control, not control, but just the how touchy it is. And that horsepower is as much as you want all right away.
Yeah.
You said you kind of noticed that, you know, is that the biggest difference you've noticed so far?
Uh, Definitely dirty air, it's been, and how, like, different the car handles, like, when you get in behind someone and go in the corner and, like, try following them, the car gets really tight and doesn't really wanna turn, and it's just there's this the speed getting down the straightaways in the next corner, especially at Lincoln, like, BAPS on Sunday, it was, like, super fast, but the straightaways were longer, I had time to think, but Lincoln, it was just like, here, turn, here, turn. It was just
It
like,
wasn't even fast Sunday, and it wasn't even fast Saturday. So
no, and yeah,
um, I don't know. Well, I guess it was okay in hot laps, but I don't know if we've seen
yeah,
fast Lincoln yet. To be honest, like we've
mm-mm.
had it ruddy and muddy, and then dry slick. So those weeks where you start time trialing and you're running low 13s, that's gonna feel like 1,000 miles an
Oh,
hour.
yeah, it
Because
is.
what did you time trial at BAPS? Did you get into the low? What was your? Do you know your time trial lap number? Like kind of time?
I
Were
think
you low 14s, mid 14s?
14 fours, 14 fives.
Which is
Still
hauling ass.
hauling
I
around there.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like they were down 14-1. I think I didn't see what quick time ended up being, but
I
I
think
kept looking at the
Brock
board
was like a
going,
13.6 was quickest time of the whole night. But
okay.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
So
not
for
many got
reference,
below 14.
thir- for reference, 13.6 is pretty quick at Lincoln. That's how fast BAPS was. So let's talk about that. You've ran some laps at BAPS and testing and whatever, but I mean, like you said, straightaway was long, but in time trials, did it give you a little bit like? Did you ever have a thought of like, man, wide open? Am I going wide open right now? In your first laps in a 410, did you trust it and did you just go for it? Or did you kind of build up to it?
I just kind of just trusted it, just was hoping, like going in there, and I was like, all right, here we go, just kind of wide open and just hoping it just stuck.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
'cause
think the car looked pretty good. I think it had a good attitude. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and the way BAPS does it too is like, because I found that interesting yesterday because I'm like, especially for somebody like you're going right out there and you're getting the green flag as soon as you're pushed off. You have no hot laps, like
yeah.
you're having to go out there and you can't just really like a normal hot lap, like take a lap or two to
Mm-mm.
figure it out. You got to go. You got to go time. So that's always. Does that make it harder?
Yeah, it definitely does, especially, first time they're in the 410 and it's really heavy like it was. Just got to go out there and hope and trust it.
Were there any bumps?
Getting into 1 and 2. And
Was
throughout
there?
1 and 2 there was, yeah.
I would feel like, hey, wide open at BAPS, it's probably pretty inviting, but not knowing if there's a bump and what that could do, that would probably be more like concerning to me. Maybe that in my first time, like, is there a bump and I don't know it's here yet? Because you didn't
Yeah.
go, you didn't like
Yeah, I
late
didn't
models aren't going to show it to you. So like, man,
mm-mm.
I don't know. I think I'd have to build up to it, but
Yeah,
like that's why you're
yeah.
a driver and I'm not. So there's that.
Yeah, I was watching the group in front of me with Brock out there. I think it was Brock and Bailey. It might have been no, Chase was in the first one. I forget who else was in that first group. But I was just kind of watching them going into 1 and 2, and there's like just a little bit of a bump getting in there into 1.
Yeah. So as the night went on, you did have to run the B, but kind of how did your heat race go? And it was kind of a blur for me. I was watching, but I wasn't like watching. So how did the heat race go, and what happened there?
And heat race, me and Dad made the wrong calls. We should have just left the car alone, but we did a few things and it just kind of made it worse. It was really left front up and left rear up, and it just kind of on the right front.
Not ideal. Not
Yeah,
gonna put there.
yeah, not ideal at
So
all.
so you also had an adventurous B main, and I know that there was a lot of people angry after that B main, a lot of fans.
hmm
Uh, I was. And not necessarily what happened with you, but just in general that we ran the B main to get rid of 3 cars,
Hmm.
really get rid of 2 cars,
Yeah,
Logan blew up, get rid of 1 car because 1 car didn't make it, and we still ran. Now I don't know if it was cut short because it
It was
didn't.
cut short. It was cut short, but
Yeah,
yeah,
so
still.
they brought the laps down, which, really good, but in that B main, were you sort of biding your time, never really got in a rhythm? I mean, it was kinda over before it started.
yeah. I was just kind of like being pretty patient, cautious there on the start. There was I think 7, 8 of us out there, and there was like 6 or 7 of us were gonna make it. So I was, not really gonna force the issue much. And then, the first lap there, just stuff happened.
Yeah, chaos a little bit all around, and,
Yeah,
after watching that a few times and, again, I don't need to get your personal take on it, I'm sure you've seen it, but it just honestly looked like everybody's fighting for room
yeah.
that ended up not being enough of. It wasn't wide enough for
Mm-mm,
all that, and
no.
I hate it for you in the 0 car because you didn't really know, like, you're in the
Yeah,
middle, you knew where you were in the middle, being in the
yeah.
middle, but the 0 car had no idea probably you were 3
Mm-mm,
wide. So,
yeah.
I don't blame you for trying to stay off of Cody, and then he didn't even know that there was a 3rd car down there, so
Mhm.
it's just a shitty circumstance all around. So how's the car? Are we good to go?
Broke the front axle, wing, and the main post there on the frame where the mount for the wing is, it cracked. So we have to take that Jay Kraut and see if he can fix it up for us and
Hopefully be
get
ready to
back.
go.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Jimmy.
So I wanted to get your thoughts too on this. So after that wreck in the B main, I can't. DJ was his name. I can't remember his last name. The guy
Yeah.
who got out of the 0 car, he came like after you. Like, and the
Yeah.
officials had to come in between you guys. What were your thoughts then? Because I'm like, what is he going after him for? Like,
Yeah. I
it's
was like,
just
man,
kind of.
like, I didn't
I mean,
really do nothing to you. I just kind of got,
did you guys
forced
talk
to.
after then or no?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we did. He was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize there was another car down there.
All right. Good.
So,
Exactly, and
yeah.
I don't blame him because if I was in his seat, I'd probably be pissed at you too,
Oh,
not knowing
yeah.
because you're the one that ended up in his cockpit, right? Like
Yeah.
you didn't really, it was just again a matter of circumstance, and I didn't even realize it at first when he was kind of going to see you. I turned around and saw it. I had no idea. Then we were giving him a little bit of shit because he was Canadian. I told him we was going to get
Yeah.
deported if he got in a fight. So, and I don't know him. I'm sure he's a great guy, great kid, but it's
It was funny.
funny to
No.
us. Um, So I do want to back up to Lincoln a little bit because you got a top 10 already in a 410.
Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, that was awesome.
So
Yeah, that was
tell me
great.
about this feature. I was talking to your team and your family, like, where I was standing, it was just this like cars. There was lap traffic. It was really fast, like kind of fast. It was on the cushion, but there was a lot of lap traffic. And I looked and I saw you at one point. I'm like, is he a lap car? Is he in the top 10, like top 5, top 6? And I'm going, holy shit. I looked at the board. I'm like, Aiden's like 6th, or I don't even know where you were at that time. And I'm like, holy shit. Okay. So walk me through that feature. Obviously, you put yourself in a good spot. Kind of walk through that feature and what you learned. And did you get out of the car going, that just happened?
Yeah. Starting there behind Macri, I was just kind of for a little bit, just don't lose his tail tank. Try to keep up with him, see what he's doing. And I was lucky enough to start on the top, so it's just at the beginning of the race was the first person to the top really, and just to go, and just being a lot really cautious, and when opportunities were given, I just take them.
So you like running the top. So
Yeah, I do.
being that they kind of did a lot of work to make the top, did you feel comfortable right away?
Yeah, I did. I really did. Especially being like that at Lincoln and 1 and 2, where there's not really much there holding at all from entrance to center to exit. It was, I don't know, it was really comfortable.
Were you able to find, 410 versus 358 running the top there? I don't want to say easier, but did you
Mm.
find it comfortable being able to use the throttle to turn the car versus, maybe just tossing the car around like the 358 maybe?
Yeah, it definitely was a lot more easier, not like in the sense of it, but like using the throttle a lot more to kind of turn the car.
Which can also get you in trouble. So did you have any of
Yeah.
those moments during the race? Now I didn't see every lap. Did you have any moments during that race where you went, oh shit?
Coming off of 1 lap, I passed Chad, and I really like kind of like gave it a little bit too much throttle and like lit the tires up. And I was like went down the front stretch and it was like fish channeling everywhere. I was like, holy, that was too much.
You weren't the only one. I saw a lot of that over the weekend. Um, your buddy JJ said your head didn't fit through the door after Lincoln. I don't know if that's another hair joke or that's oh no, that's
uh,
okay, got it. So actually here, this is a good one, Jimmy. Riley Payne's question. Go
Yep.
ahead and ask him that one.
He asked, Riley Payne asked, who would be your biggest track role models and off the track role models?
oh, um, definitely on the track is probably Danny. Watching Danny race, and then off the track, mm, definitely I like my dad. Just getting all of his feedback and him talking way through it. You should have done this here, probably this here, and just listen to his feedback.
So you talked about that a little bit, and he did some racing. Um, you know, you guys kind of, you and it's a family deal.
Yep.
Um, Where's the experience come from in a 410 to know what to do with this car? Now you got a little bit of a notebook in that 358, but you were up to speed pretty quick in that car. So where did you guys get your baseline knowledge on like, here, let's start here and then know what to do after that without, a huge level of experience between the family? Or is there someone in the background that has, all kinds of experience that's helping you get this thing going?
Now, we're really close with like the Allens, so we talked to Jacob a lot, and he kind of like was like, here, here's this what you guys need here and here and here, and he really helped out a lot.
And that's interesting, because I think Jacob as a driver and the way his car kind of races is a little different than your style and the attitude of your car sometimes. So have you ever taken the advice, put it in there, and you got out of the car and went, that's not what I want? Have you had that happen
Um,
yet? Not to
no,
say he's
not
wrong, but to get the
yeah.
feel that you want and you look. I think I kind of put you in that category of that young guy likes to kind of be a little more left and get the thing, rip the top. Like, have you had that happen where you went somewhere, went to that, hey, you switch this direction and you just hated it?
So far not yet. Between Lincoln and BAPS, not yet.
Well, you're probably a lucky one because I think people get to guessing sometimes when they struggle and go, "Oh
Yeah.
shit, that's the wrong direction. Let's go back there." So, Yeah, I mean that helps a ton, and even around BAPS, I think you've ran some laps at BAPS, but not in the 410. So, like you said, in that
Mm,
heat race, just made the wrong choice. I
yeah.
think as you get to some of these places, I think Williams Grove could be another one where everything is the arrow is even larger, right? You felt some arrow
Yes.
already, and turn that up times 10 at Williams Grove. Actually, are you going to be at the Grove this week? Is that in your schedule? How much Grove racing
It's
you got
not.
this year?
Um, Maybe the National Open at the end of the year, kind of, how this whole year goes on. Just see how the end of the year pans out, and maybe just go there.
Okay, hold on, stop. If the year goes great, you're going to make your Williams Grove 410 debut at the National Open. Is that what I'm hearing?
Maybe like a weekend or so, like before that, but like, we just
Okay,
really want to
okay.
focus on Lincoln and Baps.
That's fair. No, that's fair. Jimmy, what do you got for him?
There's a lot of good questions coming in. And some of them, I'm sure. Let's try to take some of the more serious ones first. Brandon
Yeah.
Zirk asks, I love the black and gold paint scheme, which, man, it is. It's awesome. It's an awesome looking paint scheme this year. You guys knocked it out of the park. Anything that inspired you to do those colors?
It was Kyle Larson's Zach Bryan
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
It was definitely that.
That's a good paint scheme right there.
Mhm.
Um, Matt Althoff also agrees, loves the color of your car. Brady Beavers asks, can you give us your thoughts on getting the race wheel to wheel against Jade Avedijian at Lanco? Is there a
That
story
was
here or something? Or
Is there an
yeah,
inside joke we don't know about here?
yeah, Lanco, I think Jade wrecked. They got her back out there, and we were coming off a two, and I was like still her outside, and she came up the track and went end over end. Like it ran right over my front end, and it went end over end.
so didn't end very well.
Yeah.
Um, two questions from Mandy. Mandy asks, what's your favorite concession stand food? And two, what's your favorite and least favorite tracks? So that's kind of three questions.
The tracks can be
Um.
micro, anything you've
Yeah.
been in. It doesn't have to be the two races that you've ran so far.
Least favorite track I'd say is probably Linda's, and then definitely Lincoln's cheeseburgers in the pits, the pit concession stand cheeseburgers.
What's your favorite track?
Oh, sorry. Port Royal. Definitely Port
You
Royal.
Yeah,
guys
by the
plan
way,
on going there this year or what?
Maybe.
Okay.
Just kind of depends how the year goes.
You guys just kind of
how
taking
much
it week to week?
Yeah, especially with just one motor, we just want to be
Gotcha.
smart and just careful.
Sorry, JC. Go ahead.
Jimmy, the code was there how much shit he tears up. That's the code word for week to week. So you actually won the 358 race at Port last year, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched some of the highlights. I was not there that night, but that from everything that I've read and listened to, running the top in a 358 at Port Royal is an experience. And did you just feel comfortable doing that right away? Like or it's like I'm here at Port Royal, I'm doing it. Was it one of those deals?
Yeah, kind of sort of was there, but in the feature, it took me a few laps to be like, all right, like, gotta get up here, gotta enter faster, gotta enter harder. But like the speed you carry getting into 3 and 4, it was just crazy. Cause like 358 kind of really never experienced that before, running the Grove and Baps and Lincoln. But like there, it was just crazy.
Yeah, I can only imagine. What else you got, Jimmy? Anything else?
Lo-
Oh, Dad said Triple X website helps a lot. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
Logan Rumsey pointed out before that we missed a perfect opportunity to make a 6-7 joke. Nah, we missed it.
Kind of remember what I was saying, but it didn't come to my mind.
Santos asked, any plans for merch this year?
I think in the middle of the year we're gonna get shirts made.
Oh, cool. I was gonna say that especially with that paint scheme and everything. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you'll be selling that pretty good. Matt Bird asked, how did you pick your car number?
My dad. He was number 4 and he ran.
What do you do in your free time?
iRacing.
Okay.
A lot of iRacing. And then up at the shop.
Who are you iRacing with? Because I haven't seen you in our league, and I know we iRace a lot. So, and I know some of your friends are iRacing with us. So, who do you race with?
Mostly JJ, Brady Beavers. Mostly just like JJ, and then
Got to get Brady. You got to get these guys in the posse, man, so we can wreck them. Like, I mean, we can race with them. Is what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing our own cartoon PA Posse series, and we're actually sponsoring it and actually putting up a little bit of money. So if anybody's interested, just throwing that out there. Uh, is this mom, Jessica?
yeah.
She says, I can't tell you how many times that Port Royal race is on repeat between his siblings, my boss, and father-in-law.
You know what's funny? I never went back and watched that race. I need to go back and watch that because I think I watched the highlights or whatever, but I never, and I heard who won. I knew you won, but I never actually went back and watched it. I'm gonna have to do that. I have to go back and watch that race. What was there that night?
410s.
And
Was it
305s.
410?
Yeah, it was like all three.
And 305s.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
One of those deals. One of some of the best nights there. Jude Siegel asks, who gives the best love taps before green?
Jude. Jude definitely does.
So go ahead. Nope.
I was just gonna add one more fan question here. Is the Posse Series going to affect where you run? Ask Randy.
No, it's not.
No.
Yeah, just stick in your schedule for sure. And I appreciate the discipline there, right? Like, just do what we do. Do what we're comfortable with. So
just get laps.
So this week that means you're not racing at all.
Yeah, I'll be off for 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Port Williams Grove this week. Brandon Sanders' track must have been pretty good that night. So we got kind of got the 2026 plans. When you at the beginning of the year when you kind of knew you guys were going to venture into this, did you set goals for yourself, for a team, for yourself? Did you guys sit down together and do that, or is it sort of week by week, literally week by week?
Yeah, kind of sort of like just week by week, just making the show is really kind of like the big thing. Just making it, just getting them laps.
That's a good way to go about it. So,
was there any more fan questions, or go ahead, Jimmy?
I think would be a good time. We have to ask him our questions, which I will rehash, make Chris's question that he used to ask every driver. There's one race that you could win, doesn't matter what. It could be anything, but if there's one race you want to win, what would it be?
Kings Royal.
Kings Royal, okay. Okay. Why? Just because of the money, or because of just?
Because it's just Eldora, it's fast, on the top, on the wall. I think it'd be a sweet race to win.
Is it boring running the bottom?
Sometimes it is, but it's like the bottom's a lot more like technical to hit than the top, because especially at Lincoln, like when it gets rubber, you got to hit it the same every lap. It's got to be really consistent on the bottom.
Who in your years in a 358, whether you followed them, well, I guess you'd have to follow them to know who's the best 358 driver around the bottom?
Probably Cody Fletcher.
Yeah, he is good at that. I couldn't have worked out better for him on Saturday at Lincoln. I mean, starting up front and rubber around the bottom at Lincoln, couldn't have worked out any better. Wyatt tried like hell to ruin that, but he failed. That's what Wyatt does. Wyatt, oh boy. All right, so here's the question, and if you watch the show at all, you know it's coming. You're going to name 2 drivers. Driver that you love racing around. It's always a good time. You learn something, or you have fun. It's a clean battle for whatever reason. And somebody you hate racing around for whatever reason you want it to be.
Driver I liked was definitely on 358s. It's Cody. Cody was, I could tell where he was going to run and stuff like that. And then I don't.
You don't have to dislike the person. You just have to hate racing them. Or you can dislike them and tell us that too. We don't care.
I didn't racing Jaden. Sorry, Jaden, but
you guys have very similar styles, I would say. I think that's usually where this ends up. That question is more like, this person because they do what I do, and it makes it really freaking hard on me, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. JJ, we talking all time best 358 bottom feeder? I know my answer. Ayden, are you a historian of the 358 division? Do you think you would have a no names? All right, everybody, if you're here in chat, your pick for the all time best bottom feeder in 358 division. I know mine is Jeff Rohrball. That would be mine. I want to see
There you go.
who other people say here.
Tyler Koenig says Cody, and then Ashley is a solid second on the bottom. Actually, JJ Loss also he agrees with you.
He was a master of it.
Talon Haas says Corey Haas.
I mean, yeah. Like Corey was so good in 358, but like I feel like Williams Grove on the bottom, Corey Haas. I'd have to go back and like think about 358 days at Lincoln, but Lincoln 358 for me is Rohrball, but like Corey, man, he dominated Williams Grove for a lot of years. Somebody else chiming in there. Get rid of that. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Mike Lehman says Brady Beavers.
Mike
Santos
Lehman
says
was
Pat
very
Cannon.
good,
Best to run the top, Pat Cannon, says Tyler. Yeah.
Best to win a million races at Williams Grove, Pat Cannon.
Yep. Another Corey Haas and Jeff Rohrball.
Yeah.
So
we were on Adrian Schaefer. Yeah, Adrian Schaefer was very good in the 358 for sure. All right, so Jimmy, finish him up, man. Get him out of here.
Yeah, thank you again so much for joining us tonight, Ayden. Before
thank
we
you
go,
guys.
let you go. We got to give a shout out to your sponsors and everybody who helps you get up and down to track every week, and just give a shout out to everybody that makes it happen.
Definitely Wyatt Letcher for coming on this year. He was a big help to us to get in this 410. Service Pro Automotive, Rebound Roofing, GPS, DTB Barbershop, North York Auto Menders, LHR 57, Mason Dixon Metalworks, JWE Roofing. He's another one. Oh, there's so many. Smith Septics. And definitely my dad for all the work he puts in at the shop. He does a lot of stuff. Like we just left the car wash like I think an hour and a half ago together, and now he's back up at the shop listening to this, working on the car. Can't thank him enough for everything he does. He does a lot for me. And my grandparents, my mom, Austin Kuhn, David Hartlaub, Scott, Tina, everything they do for me.
All right, Dad, we're done with him, man. Kick his ass out and get him back to the shop.
Yeah.
Favorite sponsor on that was the barbershop sponsor, clearly being used well. Thanks for being here, brother. We'll see you at the racetrack
thank
soon,
you
man.
guys.
Have a great night.
Yep. Thank you,
buddy. Thanks.
Ayden Hare, everybody. Thanks again to him for joining us. Definitely somebody who's a name that you're gonna get to know for sure. Definitely another one of these young talented drivers in the area that has a lot of potential to get some wins here, and probably I want to say quick and put that type of pressure on him. But I mean, if it's within the next 2-3 years, I would not be shocked. You know what I mean? So
yeah, listen, I think there's a lot of similarities here with a couple of these younger guys in our area. Logan Rumsey kind of jumps out to me similar, where hey, we want to get into the 410s. We don't have a ton of stuff. We got to build our program. He's got to build experience while we're trying to build a program. They're like there's some similarities there, and like Jaden Wolf, right? He's the same thing in 358. It's like the talent's there. You just got to build the program up to keep moving up and get going. And there is a youth movement in Central PA. I know some people may not like fully believe that based on like versus the country, but you got to stay and watch these guys, these young guys that are doing this in the 358 division. You can't just stay and watch the 410s you get to know these guys. You can't leave after them. You got to stay and watch. So to know that this is coming, and I knew this was coming. If they could get the funding and put it together as a team and as a family, this is a guy that you're going to be hearing a lot of here in the next bunch of years for sure.
Tyler Koenig says a kid who's going to do great in the 410s. It will be by July 4th that Ayden has a win at Lincoln. That's I mean, I wouldn't be shocked either. I mean, he won so quickly in the 358 division and everything, but I mean, I think he has the right mindset right now. Talking to him, just hey, getting laps, getting the experience, trying to, and then to kind of just let his talent take over naturally. And yeah, I mean, I could see that. I wouldn't doubt it.
It just amazes me how naturally talented that kid is. Just like
Mhm.
hopped in it, 358's hopped in it, competitive right out of the gate, got better and better. 410, 2 weeks in a row, never, not a single lap in a 410, not even a test lap, nothing, zero, and was competitive right out of the gate. Like, just I, I don't know. He may be one of those aliens. Like he's one of
Yeah,
those guys. Just gets it, just naturally good at it. So it's crazy.
yeah, and we've been talking to a few of these guys like we talked about, and so JJ Loss is in here. Was talking Logan Rums. Like those are some others that I mean, along with Aiden, they're gonna be guys that we're talking about for a while. All right, let's go into some results from this past weekend. We'll start with Lincoln on Saturday, where Freddie Raymer picked up the win over Anthony Macri, Tyler Ross, Troy Wagaman, Matt Campbell, your top five. Lance DeWeese, Danny Dietrich, Ayden Hare, Steven Snyder Jr., and Logan Rumsey round out the top 10. Your heat race winners were Chase Dietz, Anthony Macri, Troy Wagman Jr., and Lance DeWeese, or I'm sorry, Danny Dietrich. And then Lance DeWeese was your hard charger going from P17 to P6. Yeah, Freddie Raymer. That's two now, right? No, it's not. I'm dumb.
Just
It's
one,
his first.
just
That's
one.
his first one. But it feels like it could have been two. It's been kind of like him and Dietz there for the most part. Um, and obviously Anthony Macri had to go plus 10 here from 12th to second, but Freddie Raymer grabs the win here. What'd you see at Lincoln?
This was a lot of fun. It wasn't like it never felt like Freddie had it in control. I mean, it did for a moment in the middle of the race there. Like I kind of took Tyler Ross when he got going. I was like, this could be Tyler Ross's day, and he just a little bit there. But then we saw Anthony. Well, let's say this: Freddie got the lead, and as I saw Anthony pass car after car after good car after good car, if that stays green, he's there. He has a shot with one or two to go. And again, if right, it's that, and because he also kind of guessed wrong on a lap car, Macri did going into 1 and 2 with like I think the yellow flag lap. So I don't know how it would have worked out, but Anthony Macri visibly driving the car harder into turn 3 than Freddie or anybody else. Just visibly driving it deeper and harder than everybody else, and just trusting it. So, um, Macri was kind of the show coming through the field. I would watch, he'd pass a car through 3 and 4, and I would just watch the crowd's reaction, and they were hyped. Um, Lance really got going late. I guess the whole race he was coming up through there, but it seemed like he really showed up as like, oh damn, here comes Lance when it moved down to the bottom, and he was on the bottom the whole race, and it sort of like came to him, and he got by some people there. Danny was up and down. He was battling up with Troy and Matt for a minute and kind of faded a little bit late. But there was just some comers and goers through this thing, and there was lap traffic, and it was just kind of chaotic, to be honest. And it was fun to watch. Um, but Freddie breaks Chase's streak. Chase unfortunately did actually was in second, I believe, and spun out and hit the inside wall there. So, but that was a hell of a battle from second to eighth for almost that whole race. It was pretty wild. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, Chase here, he finishes 20th after getting involved in a wreck there. Yeah, I think just see again, we're talking some movers here. Dylan Norris also moved up nine spots, 20th to 11th. Ayden Hare, 14th to 8th. Some of these guys came up through the field and obviously on a very racy track. Now some of this is probably a little bit of attrition, a little bit, but obviously there's some guys that you're able to pass cars, which is what you want to see.
Yeah, it's all you can ask for, and the track was pretty worn out, but Fred did a good job at least getting the top back to these guys to have 2 lanes to run on. You had the very, very bottom, and you had the very, very top. So there was places to race, and you can see there's cars that pass cars. So you get to set up right and get up there and battle. It was entertaining for sure for a daytime race, and we moved it up to get the race in, and because of the cold temps, and it really wasn't bad out. It was fun. I had a great time. It was
Yeah,
a
good
good day.
good on Lincoln for moving this one up, getting the race in when it was, you know, decent for everybody to be outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brennan Zirk says, not sure what Macri tried on the restart, but then Freddie gapped them. So
He just spun the tires. I mean, he kind of, I think he guessed wrong a little bit on the start and spun the tires and just had to try to go make it up those last two, and didn't quite have enough. But man, before that yellow came out, he had all the momentum in the world, was running Freddie down. He was on him.
there was 30, was it 32 that they had?
I want to say 32.
I think it was 32 410s that they had. Good solid turnout for them. 358s had 15 cars come out. Cody Fletcher ends up winning that feature. And Ashley Capetta finished second. I don't have the results on the tab here. I'm just trying to go off of memory here. Which it was kind of a mess, yeah.
Kind of a mess. The track it was rubber down. Everybody used up tires. Everybody finished up front, was happy with that. Hey, we got our season kicked off right, but feature was kind of a mess. They were all battling for the bottom. Guys being impatient. Guys just missing the line and creating contact, trying to get back into the line, and just a little bit of a mess for that race. But hey, there was a happy winner, and it was Cody Fletcher. He did everything he was supposed to do. Drew the front row, got out, got gone, did his job. Brandon, put that on the screen there, Brandon. Brandon, not only did we guess wrong, we guessed way wrong. And I told Jimmy this on Sunday at BAPS that Aunt Bay was with us there last week, and we talked about huge car count. It was at Williams Grove from when they finally got the race. Lincoln last year had 24 for their opener, and I think 2 or 3 weeks later they had 30. To see 14 cars here, and one of the 15th car was a 305 out of Ohio, we believe, was pretty discouraging.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about this a little bit. I don't know if we talked about it on air a whole lot, but I know off air, there's a lot of teams that aren't focusing on Lincoln this year, and they're kind of over using up tires, and they don't feel like they use up tires at Williams Grove and at BAPS as much as they do at Lincoln when they get to run on the racetrack. So some of these guys are choosing to run elsewhere, and they'll make spot starts at Lincoln. So I do expect that the car counts will improve, and I think that they'll have fields. But pretty discouraging for opening day to only have that many when there's only been one test and there's only a couple cars that were at that test. So
it could just be an early season thing where they're not ready yet because maybe they aren't focused on running Lincoln. They're probably going to focus on Williams Grove and BAPS, and that's not for another couple weeks now. So maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked.
There's definitely some of that.
I'd be shocked to see if you see that many events with them well over 30 cars. I just don't know if there is that many, to be honest. But I'm with you. I think the car counts will improve and they'll have full fields majority of the year. It's just early in the season, it's hard.
Yeah. I just like, listen, I think as fans, like, get there and you see 14 or 15, you're like, it's kind of crappy, you don't love it as a fan. So, and I didn't. The heat races were okay. The features, Cody Fletcher did his job. Ashley did her job. They got their year started off right.
Yep. Jamie says, no track left for them by the time they got out there, so no fun. And that's kind of what we hear about, like you just explained before. So,
and listen, this is a hard thing to balance, right? Because the 410s, if the 410 race is over and there's a lot of track left, that means it probably wasn't a great 410 race. It was too heavy, too fast. There's this balance, like, and I talked to someone at Lincoln and about this, and I said, well, what if we between the 410 358 feature puts water down on the top, like give them a little bit. And the response was, So what? 2 cars that know how to will go up there? They don't anyway. 2 cars out of 24 run the top anyway. They all go to the bottom anyway. What's the point? You can't do an entire track rework for a 358 feature. You
Yeah.
can't.
You can't.
So there's this balance between like if I plan on if I plan on having something left for the 358s to make a good racetrack, that means the 410 feature ended with a lot left, which means it probably wasn't great. So I get it. It's just a tough balance to do. I don't envy the position, and I'm glad I'm not the one. I'm glad I'm not a part of trying to
Yeah.
figure that solution out. But yeah, I get it from their perspective.
Yeah. It's just
It's tough too.
tough. Yep. All right, let's go to yesterday at BAPS, where they kicked off their season after their original season opener got rained out. They get to open up the season here with the 410s and limited late models on a Sunday, where Anthony Macri grabs the win here at BAPS after starting on the pole, and that's all he was probably he was fast anyway. So he gets to win over Chase Dietz, Freddie Raymer, Brock Zierfoss, Tyler Ross, your top 5, and then Danny Dietrich, Lance DeWeese, Cam Smith, TJ Stutz, and Kyle Moody. Your top 10 heat race winners were Chase Dietz, Tyler Ross, and TJ Stutz. And your hard charger was Cam Smith, who went from 16th to 8th, plus 8 positions. Anthony Macri, though, did everything he needed to do. There's a couple yellows in this one, kind of almost anytime Anthony early on would get into lap traffic or close to lap traffic, there would be a yellow to come out. But once he got into lap traffic at the end, anyway, he was making moves. Chase Dietz was hot on his tail. He was chasing him down, but Anthony was fast. He was fast all night. He was very fast in his heat. He looked really good. Yeah, just not enough lap traffic or just not enough. Anthony didn't make a mistake for Dietz to be able to capitalize, really, is what it was at the end of the day.
From where I stood and watched, this just felt like an ass kicking. And you give Anthony Macri a fast racetrack and where he can use the right foot and push it down really hard. Who beats him? Chase is fantastic, and that's a fast race car. It just felt like Anthony had a different gear. It looked like it visibly on the racetrack. Like, and I'm not, again, it just felt like an ass kicking, and it felt like cheating, getting him to draw the pole. Like, it just was like shit. As a fan, I'm like, but at the same time, watching him go through lap traffic and be aggressive, literally the white flag lap goes around a car on the top of 1 and 2 and almost gets his thing real sideways and has to correct. He was still driving that car. It looked like at 110% on the white flag lap, and he had a straightaway lead. Like, this is just an ass kicking, it felt like. And and again, no offense to any of these other guys, because there aren't slouches. I mean, Chase he has 2 wins already. Freddie got a win the day before. Brock, we know, has speed. Danny, Lance. I mean, these guys, like, whew, boy. I actually, like, I don't always love it when someone leads every lap, but he still made it entertaining somehow, slicing through the lap traffic the way he did, because there was a lot of it. There was a lot of speed differential
And
between
the
the front
track
and
was
back
still
of the
narrow
field.
too, so
Track
it
was
wasn't just
narrow.
like,
Track
hey,
was
you can
super
just go pick a
fast.
lane and go. Yeah.
Yeah, and it made everybody kind of fast, but there was still a big disparity between Macri and the back of the field, and he was just ripping and tearing through them, and it was I was still entertained by it. And good job on BAPS. They got the race in. It was cold. They had something for everybody to race on. Nobody, used up tires. The late model feature was fantastic. They were ripping. That was fun to see late models just lean and drive those things as hard as they could all night. It's not always a bad thing when it's heavy. It was raceable, and we got to see a good race.
Yeah, it was cold, man. There was a time during it where I'm like, man, this is dumb. just because of how cold it was. I'm like, I did not think, because you saw 50 degrees and cloudy. Okay, you know what I mean. But man, it did not feel anywhere near 50. I don't think it ever got close. There was times where I was very glad to have my infield pass. I love that BAPS does that, because I was able to go in my truck just if I was getting too cold at any point. But there was one point where they were working the track in, and I'm watching just light sprinkle of rain. Just once in a while, you would get like spit on a little bit with a little bit of rain while they're putting some water down on the top, which I understood why, because it was windy as hell too. You know what I mean? It was very windy at times, and then it would die down. It was a very just kind of blah day, but they got it in and made an entertaining race out of it. It didn't get very wide, but these guys, they put on a show still. Um, one
It
of the
was very
big
gripped up. The
yeah,
amount of wheelies I saw off turn 4 was wild.
yeah.
Like, I don't usually love standing at the exit of turn 4 at BAPS for features. There's some nights where I do, but like I want to be in a corner and see the sliders. But like exit of 4, man, how many guys would just get to throttle and it would just stand them up like all night. It was so gripped up. But
Uh, it wouldn't. It feels like it wouldn't be a early season BAPS 410 race if we didn't talk about officiating and a and a D trick. So Danny, in his heat, originally after the heat, at the end of the heat, and this will also tie into before we get into that, Logan Rumsey, man, finishes second in his heat. As he's taking the checkered, the thing grenades, and that hole in the pan, everything. Not something good for a team like that on a budget, and he was fast, in his heat, and blows up at the end of his heat race. um, and there was a fire. He was able to get out. They were able to take care of it. Good job on all of them. Sucks for Logan. And you said something that their truck on the way to Lincoln, or coming back from Lincoln on Saturday,
leaving Lincoln, their truck blew up that tows the hauler.
that blew up, and then Sunday the car blows up. So not a great weekend for them. I think they said that they're going to be taking a little bit of time to regroup here. Obviously, that's a shame. But during that time, all the cars were stopped on the track because they red flagged it, even though the checker came out, but the cars were stopped. Danny gets told that he is docked 2 positions for jumping the start, and he ends up parking it right at the flag stand, which, like I said, not the first time we've seen that. To the point where they brought the tow truck out because he was just he wasn't moving. Because and then they ended up reversing it. And BAPS put out something on their social media about something about the rule book, and that they'd be putting out another post later. That post, I don't believe, has come out yet. I was very confused. It did look like a jump, but it wasn't like the cleanest start either. From everybody. So I don't know. In the end, it was nothing. He ends up starting 9th here. What's your take on it?
No, I don't think it was. I don't think the question here is did he jump or not. They were penalizing him, but the rule book is yellow gets thrown, not a post race penalty. And at least shame on me for not being prepared for a show that we choose to do and talk about these things. But from what I've gathered, the rule book states that the yellow gets thrown for a jump start from any position right away. They get a warning and then they get dock spots. I know in the past BAPS has done this where it's 2 spots after the heat race. If there's no caution comes out during the event, it's 2 spots after. But I believe that has been changed. All the tracks, we went through the jumpstart thing a few years ago, and they all made it where it's a yellow, you get the warning, second one you get docked. So
Okay.
it sounds like they just made a mistake
I
on the
was waiting
spot.
for the yellow.
They
I was
and
waiting.
honestly, I
I
didn't
had my
know.
hands up for 2 laps. I'm like, "Where's the yellow?" Because
Yeah.
that obviously should have been. It wasn't a clean start. Like it.
And that's what we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
It just yellow flag, redo it. Now I will say this: I didn't know that they reversed it because I didn't put together where he was running, where he would have been penalized. Was that out of a redraw spot, and I didn't even realize where he started. So I kind of it was out
I
of sight, out of mind in the moment. So if you heard that or
yeah.
whatever
I heard
that
them
they
say it.
reversed it,
Yeah.
good on them to like make it right in the moment. Where we talked about Lincoln the other week where they didn't make it right and it was their error. They didn't make it right, nor have they gone and apologized to the teams and said, "Hey, we can own our part of this." Good on BAPS to like correct it in the moment, do what's right, and then it sounds like they're going to put out a post about, "Hey, here's what we did wrong. Here's what we want to do better. So good on them for getting it right. If that's the right way to handle it. So
I've missed a couple good comments here. I think it goes back to the 358 thing. Brandon Sanders said, the track doesn't need to be used up to have a good 410 feature. Starts with having enough water in it the day before and maintaining Saturday to have water come back up through when it slicks off. As long as there's something to lean on the top, the cars will run it. And then Logan Rumsey said, no one going out for a feature. Any track should be planning on running those tires again. Usually, it amazes me how people always complain about their tires being shot. Very rare after a 20 to 30 lap race. The tire is usable again, regardless if it's new or used. Yeah, I mean, in wing 410 racing, that's absolutely true. Clayton Myers, Macri on the pole on a hooked up BAPS equals no chance for anybody else. Easy money. Yeah, and again,
it's kind of the way it went.
And it's one of those things where Anthony's making it look easy. You know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, it's Anthony's that good. You know what I mean? And it's, you can't give him any advantages. I mean, look at what he did at Lincoln. He had to charge up through the field to get second. So what's going on, Jaden Wolf? What's going on, man? See you in the chat. What's going on? Andy Best had the best wheelie all night, says Santos. I thought Andy looked pretty good.
I missed this. Is that what happened when he ended up getting when he wrecked? Was that a wheelie and it came down wrong?
I think so.
Or?
I'm not sure. I just remember seeing him going into the backstretch wall. It might have been from a wheelie. I don't know, but I have a feeling it was something else. But I didn't see it. But yeah, he had a couple. He made some moves there on the initial start where he ended up losing a bunch of the positions that he ended up getting. But he made some moves early in that feature. I'm like, oh, look at it. And like he went up top. He passed a couple cars. Looked all right. It's an unfortunate end there. And then during that, JJ Loss had a tire. I saw it the lap before, but the tire going down. But he had a right rear tire go down. Unfortunate because he was running up there near the top 5, having a good night. The 2 Glenn Steyer's cars showing up this weekend. Glenn Steyer's here, finishes 19th. DJ Christie, that's his last name. That's who got into the incident with Ayden. He finishes 23rd here. Not the best weekend for him. But it was cool to see them and the 45 of Nick Sheridan come down from Canada and come run with us for a weekend. It would be cool to see them come maybe a little more often.
If they don't get going up there, we got, hey guys, stay in town if you got somewhere to stay. Williams Grove and Port Royal this weekend.
Yeah, right.
Get on some half miles.
Yeah, Santos says he popped the wheel stand out of 2, stayed in it. His tail tank hit off the ground and launched into the wall. Almost took out Macri. It was right outside of him. Yeah. Yeah, so he's lucky just to hit the wall. Anybody else here? Cody Hartlaub, a good recovery. He was running well in his heat. I believe it was popping out of gear or something. He was having some issues in the heat. End up having to pull off. End up having to start last in the B main. And then works his way up and ends up starting this feature 20th, coming up the 13th. But he was pretty fast, and he was on a mission in that B main. He was making some aggressive moves, as you need to. You know what I mean? Trying to get up as far as he could, and ends up getting a decent run out of it on a night where it was hard to pass with how heavy the track was. So good job there. Any final thoughts from BAPS?
Cole Knopp won the B main. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I will say this though, Cody was aggressive in that B, and holy shit was he fast. He ran down Billy and Cole Knopp there at the end of that thing in a hurry. Like he was just ripping that thing. And
yeah, if that thing would have went the scheduled distance, he's probably getting there
probably
at least.
winning that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like very an adventure for their first day out. And we got PA Posse races this weekend, so time trial shows, right? So I imagine we see the 95 get their season going.
I believe Port is draw. I think I saw on their
What's that?
thing that it's a draw at
Oh, it
Port.
is? Okay.
Yeah.
At
So I
Port.
would imagine
But
Williams Grove will probably be the same. They usually are on opening day.
another invader, John Jarrett, came back again. Saw him at opening day at Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Not the second week, came back this weekend here for BAPS, so that was cool. The other thing I'd take away is Lance Deweese. Lincoln, BAPS back-to-back days without brake issues. Maybe looks like they got that solved. They were at testing Tuesday. Don't know if whatever the situation was going on there, looks like they may have resolved those issues. So looks like they got things going direction they want to get to. So we'll see. I'm interested for this weekend. I know we keep kind of previewing it here, but we've seen what we've seen. Now we got two completely different beasts coming up this weekend. So we'll see.
Yeah. Let's go over to High Limit, where they got 3 nights in over at Las Vegas. Night number 1, Kyle Larson wins, and he was technically the hard charger that night, going up 4 spots over quick time Corey Day that night. Giovanni Selzy and Brent Marks, heat race winners, 3rd and 4th. Tanner Thorson finishes 5th. Ryan Timms, Rico Abreu, 6th and 7th, both won heat races. Kerry Matson, James McFadden, and Aaron Reitzel round out your top 10. Very good race here. Gio led about the first half, and a good battle between Larson and Day at the end of the race there. Corey almost got him at the line, but he was ripping up top, coming through lap traffic. But yeah, Kyle Larson gets it done here on night number 1 of High Limit.
Yeah, it looked like a good finish. Obviously, I was at the racetrack. Or no, I fell asleep. I think I
This
fell
was
asleep.
Thursday. Yeah, I was asleep too. I
This was
watched highlights.
Thursday?
Yeah, this was Thursday.
I don't remember. I don't think I watched any of the races to the end. I don't think I made it.
No, I didn't
any
make
of
it.
the
I didn't
nights.
make it for any of these other Outlaws or this. I didn't make it to the end because I had to go back and get highlights the next day.
In any event, Larson Day seems like the Larson and Day show when they show up, and at least when it does happen, they put on a pretty good show. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, for sure. I was surprised by it, and I guess we could kind of maybe go off of like the 3-day impressions of High Limit. So let's go in the Friday, where Corey Day gets a little bit of redemption for the night before, gets the win over Aaron Reitzel, James McFadden, Tanner Thorson, Tyler Courtney, your top 5, Jason Persley, Rico Abreu, Austin McCarl, Giovanni Selzy, and Kyle Larson, your top 10. Corey Day was quick time again. Tyler Courtney, Rico Abreu, Kerry Matson, Danny Sams were heat race winners, and your hard charger was Tanner Thorson, going from 12th to 4th. Good on Corey Day here, getting a win here, a strong run from Aaron Reitzel in 2nd. And then going into Saturday, just to kind of, if you finish 2nd the night before, you win the next night, because Aaron Reitzel goes out. And what did he say? He said it was like you said something about Corey Day doing an ass
Day
whooping.
the night before. Corey Day said the night before about an ass whooping.
Yeah.
And Reitzel comes back and says, "How about this ass whooping?"
And he basically did it about. It was about the same. He went out. He won a heat. Wins the feature over Tanner Thorson. Rico Abreu finishes 3rd. James McFadden, Tyler Courtney, Kyle Larson, Justin Peck, Giovanni Selzy, Kerry Matson, Jason Persley, your top 10. Your heat race winners were McCarl, Lynch, Rico, and Reitzel. Hard charger was Justin Peck, which we'll talk about this, going from 23rd to 7th. A hell of a run by him. And Rico Abreu was your quick time overall for that night. Something that happened in this one is in the heat race between him and Hunter Schurenberg. Schurenberg had a scary wreck. They blamed Justin Peck for saying that Justin Peck. I saw an interview where he was walking away, and he basically said Peck took his nose off, but it sure looked like Hunter drove down into him, and he the way Hunter talked about it, he knew he was there. So I think he was trying to cross him over in the middle of the straightaway. I don't know, but it was a scary, ugly wreck. That thing, Hunter's car was absolutely destroyed. That frame is all sorts of twisted. Good for Justin Peck to be able to get back out there and at least salvage a really good night out of it. 16 spots in that is nothing. That's pretty impressive.
There's a lot to take away from just this wreck.
Yeah.
Number one, thank God he was okay, because holy shit is like, when I first saw it live, I was like, oh man. Then I saw it the second time and I'm like, oh, it's even worse. Then you saw it the third time and you're like, I can't believe he walked away. But at the same time, based on his reaction, based on his interview, he might have clearly been concussed, because he couldn't have gotten this any more wrong from the seat of what happened. It has gone on the internet, reached out to Justin, apologized publicly. But, I've never been a driver, but I think if you're a young driver, I don't care who you are. If you're a race car driver, I think there's something to be learned from this here. Go watch try to get a replay before you do the interview. I know in the heat of the moment, like, good for this is tough. I
There's
think as
so many
fans, we
times
all
where
wanted to hear that. As fans, we wanted to hear that interview. We did.
Yes.
He was pissed. We wanted to hear it, but then the whole world went, "This guy's out of his freaking mind."
Yeah. How many times do you hear? How
How
many
could you
times do you
defend
hear
it?
a NASCAR driver when they just get like out of the infield care center or interviewed or something like, I don't know, man, I got to see the replay, but here's what I thought.
Yes.
That's when you know that they're trained, because what Hunter did was the complete opposite.
Did the opposite. This is not how to not handle media interviews after a crash 101, because the whole world was like, this guy's out of his freaking mind. I think, how could we? I want to meet the human who actually got out and agreed with him. Like, after that, I want to meet that person in live and go, what? How are you defending this? Like, how are you defending what just happened? What he said? You must be a really big Hunter fan, or you hate Peck. But like, kudos to him for coming back and being like, "Hey, I own it. That's on me."
For sure.
But at the same time, like, man, young drivers, you can take note if you're ever in that position. Like, I'd love to see a replay. I felt like I got done wrong, but man, maybe I need to see a replay. Maybe that's on me, right? And it's adrenaline. I've been there. We've got. I mean, we have we have these kind of arguments on iRacing, and we're sitting we can see the replays in front of us, and people still don't get it right. Like, so I get that it's difficult, but thank God he came back and was like grown up enough to say, that's on me, y'all. Sorry, Sprint Car World. That's on me. I apologize. I'll own it. My mistake. Blah blah blah. So, there's a lot to take away from that one. But thank God he actually went back and like reached out and did it the right way.
I'm glad we're talking about an interview after, because that was a really bad wreck. Like, he went front over, and like that car was bad. And he went from the middle. They made contact a little bit before the start finish line, I believe, in the middle of the front stretch, and he was almost to the outside wall of turn one. That's how far he went. Very scary wreck. So lucky that we're talking about the drama after rather than something else. So but overall, I think all three nights of the other controversy from the night, and I'm not 100% sure exactly what happened, but it sounded like Aaron Reitzel and a couple others in turn one, there was a red, and they must have blew the horn for the crews to stop working on the car. And Aaron Reitzel was originally penalized for that, one of those cars, but nobody in turn one could hear it, allegedly, and they overturned that call. Obviously factors in a little bit here for him winning. Obviously you're gonna have people who just don't like Aaron Reitzel. They're saying like, oh, whatever. But it sounded like nobody heard it in turn one. Now, I think Tanner Carrick was penalized. I don't think they ever overturned that one. I could be wrong. So a little bit of like, what's going on here? I have to find out myself exactly more what happened. I didn't see it live. I'm just kind of going off of what I've seen on the internet. Everybody has their opinion.
I don't like Aaron Reitzel, so I'm going to say that he did wrong and he should have been penalized. I'll just go with that. The other one, Jimmy, was the Schoenberg Peck wreck, and how Kevin Rudin was allowed on the racetrack during a red flag
to
help break this up like a security guard. So I still haven't heard. Was there anything more on the internet about that? Did High Limit say anything? Were there secret, double secret background behind the curtain finds? Was there a talking to? Was there anything that said it? Because I mean that's the rules, right? Like I don't know. Is that the rule? I don't know if that's a high limit rule or not. So I'm curious if anybody out there in listening, if there's been anything on the internet about that. Don't love that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Clayton Myers makes a good point here. Corey Day's broken axle was scary too. Lucky he didn't leave the track. Did a High Limit also adopt the rules banning the ultralight axles? And Billy confirms, yes, they did. Thank you, Billy Dietrich, for confirming that. Yes, they did ban the ultralight axles in High Limit. So, yeah, just Saturday all around, and we're going to talk about the other thing that happened, but Saturday night was just chock full of just crazy stuff going on, and yeah, just Carrick's penalty was overturned. Thank you. George Wood is telling me that Darius Slay just retired. Thanks, George.
Good career.
Appreciate it.
Good career.
Good career. Absolutely good career. Super Bowl champion. Yeah, Hunter did make a post saying that he was wrong in that and everything. So that's good on him. But the 3 nights of High Limit, the track looked awesome. I thought it came in pretty well. They're obviously still dealing with some rock issues, which I don't know if you're ever going to get rid of that unless they completely redid the surface. But this is the only time that they race here. So I don't see that happening. And obviously you got the split with NASCAR there. You had some NASCAR people there. You had a lot of different fans that you're exposing to. We talked about it last week. Love that they do this. I think this is awesome. Wherever they can do this and team up with NASCAR and be in the area. The Outlaws have done that too before. You know what I mean? Like where they're racing in the area where NASCAR is that weekend. Because you're trying to draw in fans and maybe create a new one for your series. And I think it's awesome what they're doing here, and it seemed like an overall good 3 days. 2 names stuck out to me all weekend, or for the 3 races. Giovanni Scelzi, he was a little bit better than I thought he was going to be at the gate. Pretty impressive. And Tanner Thorson, man, he looks really freaking good. If he can keep this up this year, he's not just going to be. I mean, he could factor into the title fight. To be honest, for how good he's been. I knew he was going to be good. I knew he was going to be better. He seems like a top 5 guy here. Kind of figured he'd be battling like him and Brent Marks and maybe Justin Peck would be kind of and Giovanni Scelzi were kind of like that kind of tier. Decent Pursley kind of like from like 4th to 8th or so of the standings, but he might be mixing it up with the top guys. And he was super impressive all week.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to deny it, and I like Tanner more and more as I watch, and I'm a fan. I like what they do with that program. The car's cool. But my best part of that whole weekend was the interview with Stevie Smith. I grew up a Stevie Smith fan. He was my favorite driver as a kid till early adult. And Stevie Smith, man, my all-time favorite driver. And that's obviously his son-in-law is Tanner. And he was at the racetrack for the first time in many, many years. Seemed like he was enjoying himself, having a great time. Spoke well of Tanner and and what he's doing. And man, it was just so cool to see Stevie on an interview. And it's been a long time. And just riding the T2T vibes, man. I was riding the vibes with that whole deal. So it's cool to see Tanner having the success. He, everything around it. He works his ass off at it, and he does a lot of this stuff himself. And yes, he has a team, but it's very much Tanner centric in that deal, and seeing him have success is really, really cool.
Any other final thoughts from High Limit before we move on here?
Just about lost electric. My legs just blinked. If I disappear,
Yeah.
good luck to everybody. Hopefully I'm back again.
Been I had to take when we were talking to Ayden before. I'm like, man, it sounds like somebody's like beating on our window here, and it was the rain. The rain was coming down pretty good.
Yeah, I'm that yellow line. I'm right on the yellow line.
And the crazy part is we could wake up to snow tomorrow. Like this is
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be going to State College tomorrow. I'm going to probably drive through snow. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right, we're going to talk about the World of Outlaws right now. Before we get into the racing, Saturday night's event ended up getting postponed as they were lining up for the B main. Two side-by-side vehicles with officials collided pretty bad, and it ended up taking the life of one of the officials, Billy Hertz, and also the other official whose name I don't know. I don't know if that's been released yet, but the other person involved is in pretty serious condition in the hospital. Hoping he pulls out the best. Awful situation. Not something you want to see. Makes you just put in perspective. Just how much we talk a lot about the drivers and making the racing safe and all that, but also the safety crews are out there anything could go wrong at any time. And unfortunately that's what we saw here. And it's unfortunate and just absolutely gutted um for the series and Billy's family and just everybody involved. It's just awful. And everybody there that had to see it, because it was right in the middle of the front stretch. Everybody saw it. You could see it for a little bit of time. If you went back on the multicam stream, you could see what happened. I saw it. It was ugly. Um, just awful. Just not something you want to see. Obviously, some people wanted to like knee jerk and started talking about the safety of the side by sides and this is what happens when you do this and you do that, and everybody start pointing fingers. And there's going to be a time and place for it. I just don't think it's right now. Obviously there'll be probably some changes that happen, but right now it's just talking about how unfortunate it was for Billy to lose his life, and hoping the other guy pulls through.
Yeah. I mean, you said it, buddy. Just terrible situation all the way around. So prayers to the Outlaw family, the fans that were there, the gentlemen's, all the families involved, everybody around, just an awful situation. This is an entertainment sport. It's entertainment. This is the tough side of it for sure. And it's a very unexpected part of it. Just super unfortunate. So prayers to everybody involved.
Yeah, absolutely awful. So, not sure what's going to happen with the end of the results there. Not that that matters. But Friday night they did race. David Gravel got the win over Bill Baylog, Carson Macedo, Logan Schuart, Sheldon Hanshield, Donnie Schatz, who came 23rd to 6th. Another hard charging effort for him, plus 17. Christopher Traum, who ended up getting the dash win in the pole, looked really good on Friday night. Emerson Axum, Chris Wyndham, and Spencer Baston were your top 10. Chris Wyndham, Spencer Baston both moving 12 spots up too. Good nights for them. Christopher Traum hanging on for a top 10 after starting on the pole of the dash, like I said. Good night for him. But it was the David Gravel show, who won a heat race. Carson Macedo, Sheldon Hanshield, and Buddy Kofoid, who finishes 20th here, should shake up the points a little bit. Winning the heat races. And then your quick time of the night was Casey Jedrzejek, or I like to call him Casey Alphabet. Ends up getting quick time here. So yeah, David Gravel getting a win. Bill Baylog, solid run, but not shocking here with David Gravel getting the win, coming from 5th, plus 4 spots to get the win. But yeah, couple comments here. Brandon says, we at Port Royal are having safety meetings regarding side-by-sides, four-wheelers, etc. on Saturday morning. That's good. I like to hear that. Hopefully it happens around the country at other tracks as well. Sucks this had to happen for this to take place. Yes, I agree. I think it's something that sometimes you see some things and, you're like, man, something's going to happen one day. And this just seemed like now, obviously, they had to barricade it off, and it was a crime scene then. You know what I mean? You couldn't touch anything. The police are investigating, so there's probably only so much that they could talk about because until they figure out exactly what happened. But yeah, there's just times where like, man, like we need to maybe slow down a little bit. You know, we're so for pushing for efficient shows that sometimes maybe it's at the safety of the safety crew or anybody else that's there in the line of fire there. Um, Tyler Murray, can we also mention how unprofessional that, that the Kennedale news page was to post an image of the accident scene when the photos were asked to not be posted? Terribly disrespectful. Yeah, that's unfortunately that's our culture too. A little bit, you know, it's all about being first and being exclusive rather than being right or doing the right thing. You know what I mean? When it comes to news and stuff like that, it's all about trying to get those clicks and views, and there's a time and place for that. And yeah, that's not cool.
You know, yeah, 100% agree with Tyler and what you said there. And this is always these things are tough. Um, you, I'm not sure even on my page or our page we've ever even shared the ones we can share, and it's okay to share that we've shared them because I don't ever want to share news that's easily accessible, easily out there about bad things that happen in the sport to get clicks
Mhm.
on our page. Our page is monetized on this show. We make like 3 cents a month. And my personal photos page does better than that, but I don't want to post that kind of stuff, even if it's widely acceptable that it could be posted. I don't. And I hope people don't think I just ignore it, like that it's not happening. But I don't really ever. Some of it's news, but it's not my news. I'm not going to share other people's posts about bad things or whatever. I don't know. I just feel some kind of way, like feels kind of dirty to me if I share something or takes a post instead of sharing it, making it my own and posting it to try to get clicks to try to be monetized. It feels wrong. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it on this page, even though this page would be more news. I certainly don't want to do it on my own pages. So for a news outlet, if it's a news outlet who's supposed to know the standards and professionalism and really kind of pathetic. So Tyler, 100% agree. And I'm, you know, we are not news. Jimmy and I, right? We're fans. I think people probably are in the industry, if they've heard our show or know our show, might like it, but they don't call us uh, journalists or
Yeah.
news people because we didn't go to school for it. Like
Yeah.
we're idiots. So
No, yeah, that's
apparently
not our angle.
you have to be going to school to be called news. You have to be like you have to go to school to be smart. You know, or if you didn't go to school, you're not smart. But in the scheme of things, for a professional, yeah, the Penn Live article this morning, same thing. Did you see this, Jimmy?
No.
The Penn Live article, they posted the Penn Live article said, gentlemen, incident happened at the track Saturday night with a picture of Williams Grove's front stretch stands about the Kennedale incident.
So it makes it look like it's at Williams Grove. Come on, what are you doing?
Yeah, super pathetic, awful, terrible. And this is journalism, right? "Quote unquote journalism." Stop it. It's
Yeah.
clicks. It's clickbait. It's
Mhm.
not. It's clicks about something, a tragedy.
Yeah.
It's pathetic. That's journalism these days. It's sad.
Yeah, there's a difference between trying to get clicks over something fun or like something non-consequential, but something like this is just I don't know. But hey,
Yep.
whatever. Not my I'm not the one doing it so I won't lose sleep at night. You know what I mean? I'm knowing that I would be doing the right thing.
Didn't plan on having a rant tonight, but
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah, but just unfortunate situation there, everything with the Outlaws. Obviously the racing comes second there. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. Just sucks. Let's get into this weekend. Let's look forward here to this weekend where we'll start here locally. We already alluded to this already. You got Port Royal on Saturday, 3 p.m., $25 to get in. These are the first two official races of the PA Posse 410 Sprint Series. The new series this year, separate point fun, brand new deal here to Central PA to kind of how the tracks work together. Lincoln will not be racing this Saturday. Port Royal will be racing Saturday, though. They'll have 410 sprints, and they'll get some support from the super late models. When I was on their page, it looked like it was going to be a draw because they had draw in parentheses there. So there will not be time trials, and I would imagine Williams Grove will be the same way. They never do time trials for their opener, which is on Sunday, 2 p.m., $25 to get in for both of these day races. Keep an eye out, depending on how weather is. They might move these times up a little bit. I don't know if there's much room to move up that much. But if you can't make it to the track, Port Royal will be on Flow Racing, and Williams Grove will be on Dirt Vision. You could catch it on one of those two. I know I'm amped up. I'm amped up for both of these this weekend. I will for sure be at Port Royal if it happens on Saturday. I'm going to try Williams Grove on Sunday, but I got to get the camper and stuff ready, so I don't know. If Saturday doesn't happen, then I'll definitely be at Williams Grove on Sunday. So that's my plan, at least personally. But I'm excited for this. Hopefully, we get good weather and we get both of these in. Amped up. Really, it's really going to feel like the season kicks off now, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you said about the start times, and I think these are both perfect. Port Royal doesn't mess around. They do really, really good job keeping shows moving along. Listen, the late models have starters, right? We don't need to push them all, so that's awesome. Williams Grove, 2:00, no support division, right?
Nope.
Just them?
Yep.
Should be fine, right?
Yeah.
You can't go much sooner than that. So weather so far looks like 60 both days.
Yeah, it looks decent.
Is what I saw.
I think you got to watch maybe
look
some
at
precipitation on Saturday, maybe. But
I
Sunday
didn't
looks
look at
good.
Port Royal. Yeah, I didn't look at Port Royal. That's a little bit like that. It has its own little weather environment up there.
Yeah,
so I
that's
imagine
true.
a little bit
I'm gonna look
cooler
right
at
now,
Port
actually.
Royal. But Sunday looks pretty good, I think. I don't know if we'll be, but it's early. It's only Monday.
Yeah,
so
it's only Monday. Right now,
It's only
Port Royal
Monday.
is looking like 59, mostly cloudy on Saturday. Some rain coming in the evening, and then I don't want to say Sunday now. So I thought it was the other way around. It could change. It's going to change a million times. 70% chance of rain and drizzle. 63 degrees on Sunday right now. Let's hope that changes. Let's hope it pushes out.
Yeah, because honestly, we don't get many Williams Grove daytimes. This is the one.
Oh, it's so yeah. Awesome.
It's one of my favorite races of the year. It sounds stupid, and it's never like I don't know if it's ever been like a banger race, like the best race that we've ever seen. But there's just something about daytime Williams Grove racing, and the hard part with Williams Grove is they go to like 7:30 starts next week.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah, 6 days after, or 5 days after on Friday.
Yeah, I'll take cold in October. But when the first tracks go to night racing at the beginning of the season, it feels like we do it like 3 weeks too soon. It is some of the coldest I've ever been in my life, I think, when it goes to night racing around here. And I'm like, thank God Lincoln on Saturday moved up to 4 because 6:00 is stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
This early in the year.
Yeah, I say it. I've been saying it for weeks. I've been saying it constantly. We should be day racing until April. At least April.
And I get where Williams Grove's in a hard spot.
Yeah, with Fridays. Yeah, absolutely.
It's
I get there.
because they can't really do a lot. Sundays are kind of taken up quickly.
Yeah, and
they get this weekend,
and
there aren't many more. So
and the weather's going to be kind of if it's going to be like it's been. I mean, it's been a little up and down. So I mean, for Williams Grove, it's really like. It's going to be cold and it's going to be damp. You're just probably going to end up having to cancel anyway. You know what I mean? But you have no options to really move up, and they don't run Sunday. They used to run Sundays, in the beginning of the season before they went to Friday nights. But I understand their predicament. They're not in a great spot. But yeah, I agree. It's just I hate night racing this early. It's dumb.
For like Port Royal and Lincoln, I would love to see them because those are the tracks I think, and whoever runs Sunday. So Port Royal, Lincoln, and whoever runs Sunday. Should be 3 or 4 o'clock starts until April, middle of April.
Middle April, yeah, I agree.
What's the harm? What's the freaking harm?
Because if you do get a really warm day, especially on you could just do what you're doing now, where you're moving it up. You could just move it back. Be like, hey, we're gonna start at like 6:00 because it's like 80 degrees today, and we don't want to You could always do that too. You know what I mean?
You
That is the
could.
nice thing with social
Absolutely
media now
could.
is that you can kind of
Yes.
have a little more flexibility and give everybody the notice that they need that it's happening.
Yeah. And I listen, I love the time change that we do it so soon, but that
Mhm.
doesn't mean we need to be starting at dark and have night shows in early April
Yeah.
around here. Like, when's the last time we had a really warm stretch of early April? Never.
Right. Right.
You
And
get 2
very,
days
very
and it's cold again. Like,
yeah.
that's just the weathers. Like, it's not that freaking nice out to be having nighttime shows in early April.
And
It's
daytime shows are
miserable for
just more
everybody.
fun. Daytime shows are
And they're
just
more
fun.
fun.
They're just fun.
And do you think do you have a chance to get more people on a Saturday afternoon at 65 or a Saturday night when it's going to be 45? When
Yeah.
they know it's going to be 45 at the end, what are they going to do?
Mhm.
I don't want to freeze my ass off by the end of the night.
Mhm.
Just
I agree.
saying. Just saying, man.
It is what it is. We don't got to worry about that this weekend though. 2 daytime shows. Hopefully the weather holds off. Um, Billy's amped up in the chat. He said, "I'm amped up. How's the weather looking? Not awful, but not great." Dirt Track Ant says, "I know when I was younger, Lincoln did up to 4-day races at one point to start the year. I think the Grove would do 3." Yeah, I mean, and I understand. I understand the Grove's predicament, but if you're running on Saturday or Sunday, there's no reason we should be running at night. I think most Sunday shows throughout the entire year should be late afternoon instead of night, but that's just me. That's selfish me because I gotta go to work the next day.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. And your travel for you, right? Like BAPS, I think BAPS does a nice job most Sunday nights of
Yeah.
getting us out a decent hour.
Mhm.
But for you being so far away, it's still a long night for you and
Mhm.
being up early Monday.
Yeah.
Like for me, they get done by 8:30, 9 o'clock on a Sunday night. Reasonable.
Yeah, it's reasonable still. Yeah.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
But for anybody that travels and then you work like that's tough. So I get that. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard. Like I don't want to necessarily have a full daytime show on a Sunday in July because it's freaking
Yeah,
hot
that's
and
different. Yeah.
the track needs the
Mhm.
track needs the night. So yeah, I don't know. It's a tough thing all around, I think.
Yeah.
But once you get
Yeah.
into summer, yeah, nighttime, do what you got to do.
Mhm.
Sundays are a little different, but yeah, these Sunday shows until we get to like May, anybody running on a Sunday should be freaking 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
until it's actually nice out.
Yep. Billy says, "I froze yesterday." You and everybody else there, man. It was
all did, man.
brutal. And shout out the BAPS for pushing it through as quick as they did, as much as they could. We got a race in. And listen, I didn't stay for the late model feature, so I was able to get out of there as Anthony was doing his victory lane. I got home at a decent time. I got home by like 7 something. It was
Nice.
It was nice, and it's taken me until about 7 o'clock tonight to thaw out from yesterday. But yeah,
It is
it
cold.
was cold. It was colder than I expected. I didn't dress appropriately either, but because I thought it was going to be a little bit warmer. But yeah, so I'm amped up for this weekend. Let's go. Get this season started off at Port Royal and Williams Grove, and get this 410 series going, and let's see what happens there. The World of Outlaws are scheduled for Friday and Saturday. Friday, they'll be at Lawton Speedway for the Sooner Stampede at Lawton, Oklahoma. And then they make their debut Saturday night at Creek County Speedway in Sapulpa, Oklahoma, calling it the Creekadega 40. It's a pretty cool name for it. Creekadega. But yeah, so that'll be the Outlaws this weekend. And then High Limit is back in action 3 days at Central Arizona Raceway, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, much like this past week. They're going to get going again here. So, yeah. Lots of racing, but feeling like the season's starting to get going. Now what you got both big series running, and we're gonna have one here at home as well. Very exciting times. Pretty soon it'll be sunny, and we'll be sick of going to races.
No. One of my favorite towns in anywhere is Sapulpa, Oklahoma. And what driver is from Sapulpa, Oklahoma? Who knows it in the chat? I know it. Who else knows it in the chat?
I have no clue.
I do. Because every time they say it, I'm like, Sapulpa, Oklahoma is it's a cool sounding town. Somebody's going to get it right away. They're going to know it. But
somebody's got to
yeah.
know it.
Yeah, they're gonna know it.
I just like it's called Creekadega.
Yeah.
Yeah, exciting for this weekend and BAPS is running on Saturday too. I did not put that on here. BAPS is running on
It's
Saturday.
okay. It's fine. It's okay.
Well,
Sportsman, late models, extreme stocks, classic cars.
their standard regular show.
Four of them, basically. Yeah. Listen, I'm kind of excited to see Sportsman. I like Super Sportsman. I think it's a cool division. We'll see. We'll see what got and the extreme stocks. I like the extreme stocks. Late models put on a hell of a shows. 27 limited late models was a great turnout.
Yeah, that was a lot more than I thought it was going to be.
Super. Yeah, same. I thought we are 20 to 24.
Mhm.
Get 27 of them out there. 26 and a half. That one car was really slow. I think that car needs a couple test nights, but at the same time, that was a great show. Gene Knobb in a limited late model battling Colby Fry was awesome. That was cool to see him. Glad there was a restart at the end for them to battle it out. So that was cool. But yeah, I'll be at BAP Saturday and Williams Grove on Sunday. Be missing Port Royal this week, but I'll probably be, camera in one hand, phone in the other watching. So doing a little bit of both for sure.
Tyler Koenig
Nobody got.
Is it Danny Wood?
Maybe Danny Wood, but that's not. I don't think so. No. Somebody's going to Google it, and somebody's going to Google it and feel really, really smart. But should I say it before? There it is, Blake Hahn.
Blake Hahn. Look at that. Brandon Zerk. Got it. Blake Hahn. From Sepulpa,
it's funny because I heard it.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Okay. All right.
You can hear it now, can't you?
Yeah, I could hear it now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sepulpa, Oklahoma.
Dirt Trek Ant says Gene Knobb and Colby Fry should come back to the limiteds full time.
Yeah, I would think we would all like that. I mean, here's what I want: Gene Knobb, Colby Fry, and Lane Snook. Just a 3-car battle. Go after it, fellas. You got 15 laps.
I'm excited to see what the super late model division looks like at Port on Sunday as well. Should be good. Always a fun. What do you get the 410s and the supers there at Port Royal? It's always a fun time, and hopefully they have as good of a turnout as well. And there's a lot of interesting names that'll be there. I'm sure that have become Port regulars. That'll be fun. So, yeah, I'm excited. Let's do drink it and dump it, and we're gonna get out of here. You want to go first?
Sure. Let's see. Drink it. You know what? This might be prisoner of the moment, but I'll drink it to Ayden Hare. Great debut.
Yeah.
First couple weeks, great job. Appreciate him being here tonight. I like being around that team, that family, great people. They're always super welcoming. Whenever I get to see them in the pits, they watch the show. So they're fans of ours for sure, and hopefully we don't talk bad about him too much or his haircut. But so shout out Ayden, thank you for coming, and great start to a 410 career. And you know what? Dump it. I'll let you have the low hanging fruit. You did a good job earlier talking about it, if you want it. But I'll go Logan Rumsey.
I was gonna go Logan.
Man, what a weekend!
Yeah.
Hopefully they get things figured out, straightened out. We see Logan back on track quickly.
Yeah, I hope so too. That's a real bummer. They were picking up some steam there, and they were going to start the feature probably pretty far forward, and who knows what could happen. All right, drink it. My drink it's going to be. I'm going to go Tanner Thorson, man. I was just super impressed with what he did, and just he's going above my expectations already this year. And I know it's just a couple races here because, but I don't know. I'll give a drink it to him. I thought he had a really, really good week. And then dump it to obviously the Outlaw officials going, the loss of life, the Billy Hurts, and just that whole situation is awful, and everybody with the Outlaws there, just awful situation. Dump it to that for sure. And yeah, and I'll also drink it to BAPS getting the race in and pushing through and doing it in a timely manner, so we weren't frozen and getting hypothermia. Clayton Myers says, drink it to Donnie Schatz. He's basically the default World of Outlaw hard charger most nights. That pretty much at this point. Dump it to crap glitchy streaming sites starting from scratch when good alternatives were already available. Hot take. Yeah. I'll leave that one alone. Brandon Zirk. Drink it to Lincoln having a better surface this week and dump it to the tragedy at the Outlaw race. Thank you, Brandon. Billy Dietrich. Drink it to the track being smooth Saturday and dump it to the water truck at BAPS. Somebody needs to take the keys away. I said that they were watering the top and I was watching sprinkles hit the windshield of my truck. I'm like, what are we doing? But
I'm surprised that it stayed that heavy that long with how windy it was.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think that was
God,
the
like,
mindset was how windy, but
Yeah.
it was wet.
I thought for sure it was going to widen out and get wide across. It just never did. And I was wrong on that one.
Yeah, it just wasn't windy enough, or it was just so cold and
guess.
damp to begin with. Even with the wind, it wasn't going to matter.
Yeah.
No sun or anything to help dry it out. Billy also says drink it to the BAPS officials. Santos says drink it to Ayden Hare with an impressive top 10 run at Lincoln. Thoroughly impressed me. Dump it to all the torn up cars in the 358 feature. As always, drink it to y'all for another great show. Drink it to you, Santos. Thank you, buddy. Jason Sosnowski says make coilovers great again.
Oh, someone did ask in the chat if there's any other like touring cars running it other than Blaney and Thorson, and no, not that I know of.
Yeah.
There's nobody else out there running any kind of thing other than these two.
Their track can't says drink it to Charge and Charlie Schaefer back in a late model at BAPS. He finished 13th, I believe. Cheers to him. Mandy says drink it. Great interview with Ayden. Thank you. Local tracks getting races in. Tanner motherfucking Thorson. Dump it to Rumsey's bad luck. Weather today. All the wrecks. Late model wreck. The late model wreck. We were talking about that yesterday. On Saturday. That was pretty ugly too. Wingless wreck at Vegas. Yeah, a car went right through the fence. Schurenberg, etc. The air horn controversy, and obviously Kennedale 2. Pour one out in memory of Billy Hurt. Very, very good job there, Mandy. Listed them all. Cheers to that. Doug Kreiser said, dump it to Billy Dietrich pill draws.
What do we need to do? What does Billy need to do? What kind of religion / like sacrifice? Do we need to sacrifice like Seth Dietrich to get good pill draws? I mean, maybe that's what we need to do.
Brandon says I want a T2T t-shirt. We have a few left of the last ones we just got made. Message us and let us know what size you are. We'll try to get you one. We are still waiting on the 2Xs that we had ordered, and we only got the ones that for the people that ordered. And we'll try to make another run here of some shirts here, probably in the next month or two. Apologies for the delay. But we do have a couple, like I'm talking less than 5 of, I think, large and extra large. So if you would take a large or extra large, message the page, we'll try to get you one. Billy says, I got new sunglasses. Maybe that will help.
It's better than sacrificing Seth. Good call.
Yeah. And Race Nelson says, drink it to Heart Lab showing killer speed at BAPS Sunday. Boy, he was on one. He was for sure. He definitely showed some speed. He was very aggressive where he needed to be and was able to pull it. He was all over. He was ripping. One more. Christopher Knoll. Drink it. Denny Hamlin winning after everything during the offseason. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then dump it to the wingless sprint car going through the fence at Las Vegas Dirt Track. All right. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Hopefully we get some good weather this weekend. We see you guys at the track. If not, we'll see you here next Monday. Have a good night.